Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Ithaqua's Bane bringing you gaming goodness, and we are back with Wraithound. Now I'm trying to get this recorded before my throat gives way. I'm starting to get a bit of a throat infection. So let's try and get this done before I lose my voice. But yes, welcome to October 24, and I'm going to be bringing some paranormal horror games to the channel this month. We have been doing Death Wizards, the skirmish game from Snarling Badger Studio, where you play as a necromancer and his horde, and you have to fight against heroes. I have been doing that, but I wanted to also do some sort of paranormal, ghost hunting style games. And the first of which is Wraithound. Now, in the previous video, I did actually give a quick overview of the rules. I didn't explain everything, because I kind of want to show you as I'm playing the game. But we will be going through and playing a game. Got to be honest, I'm not sure whether I'm going to show you the complete playthrough, or whether I will sort of cut sections out to maybe reduce the time. But you'll definitely see the beginning and the end, maybe not the middle part, but we'll see how we go. I have my two dice that I'll be using for oracle rolls, but also for action rolls. I've already set up the cards into their stacks. So at the bottom here, we have the cards that are 2 to 5. These are the red, these are the black. Here for level 2, we have the cards which are 6s to 10s, red and black. There's also a joker in there somewhere. And then at the top here, we have the cards that are jacks to aces, red and black. And also in the black stack, there is also a joker. Now, jokers do have special rules when you draw them, so we'll see that if they turn up. This will be my grid where I'm constructing the building. Now, for our first mission, we did actually roll up that we are going to the Sunstone Manor, a radiant estate built from shimmering, light-reflective stone. So that's the building we're going to be constructing, and it's a 3x3 grid. What I've done is I've labeled the locations here, or the rooms here, so that I can easily reference it when I'm writing down the description and doing, I don't do proper full journaling, to be honest. I don't write stories or essays or anything like that, but I do kind of make sort of bullet points and notes. So what we've got here, this is in preparation because I am planning to do the first room here, G. So I'm going to be writing down the room, which will be the first card, curiosity, which will be the second card, and the threat or horror will be the third card, the black card. I've also put here an oracle prophecy. This is in case I want to use the open question oracle, where we create like a sort of prophetic statement or prophetic cryptic sentence kind of thing, which may also help me to develop a story around what we create. Conjecture, and of course some area for notes. I've also done for the prepared for the second room, but I haven't labeled it yet because I don't know whether I'm going to be continuing to H or I, or possibly a secret room. So I haven't labeled the second place we're going to be looking yet, but I know that we're going to be starting in G. You don't have to. You can start in H or I as long as you start in the first level. Now, the character that we created, again in the last video, Elwyn Duskgrove the Blessed. His drive is to leave a mark in the supernatural world. His talent is to project himself into the spiritual realm, so spirit walking. Style, a frayed wizard hat and matching robes. So a frayed wizard hat and frayed robes. A thick ginger beard, big bushy beard, and gentle sapphire eyes. His trinket is a smooth oval stone, pulses warm glow when held, and casts intricate shadow patterns on nearby surfaces. And I think I mentioned in the last video, this reminds me of some of those tools that you see on these ghost hunting programs where they project the lights. I don't know if it's the Kinect or something, but they project like the lines and the lights and the dots, and you can see if like a shadow moves across them kind of thing. So that's the first thing that came to mind, is maybe I can use it for something like that. If I come across something that's difficult to see or invisible or anything like that, I could potentially use that trinket, I think. And of course, there could be other ways that I can use this. We will have to find out. But yes, let us set up what's it called again? Sunstone Manor. Now to do that, we're going to take cards from our stacks. We're going to be placing 2 red cards and 1 black card on each of these rooms. So we're taking the level 1 red cards, and I'm going to place 1 on each of the rooms in level 1. I'm then going to place a second red card on each of the level 1 rooms. I've got 2 cards left, but we may use these at another point during the game. For example, we may want to use these to create our secret room. So you don't get rid of these, you just put these back at the level 1 red stack point. We then take our level 1 black cards and we put 1 on top of each room. Put the rest back. That's level 1 done. We've now got to do the same for levels 2 and 3. Right, as if by magic, Sunstone Manor appeared. So we essentially have 9 rooms of interest. Now, of course, if it's like a manor, of course, there's going to be more than 9 rooms, but the other rooms you can think of as being empty and basically not of interest. But this is where the action's going to happen, and this is where our investigation, we can gain clues and information and help and things like that. And horrors, we can always run into horrors. Over here, we have our unused cards, both red and black. And again, later in the game, we may be asked to actually use these cards as well. So keep them here. Right, I think it's time to begin. So we have to start on level 1. We pick one of these rooms at random as our starting point. And we then use the cards and the tables that you can see over here. I'm having to use a different camera. I'm using a different camera for this because I don't have enough space on one camera. But yes, we're going to use the tables to actually generate the information and find out exactly where we are and what we find. Right, let us go. We have our grid ready. We are going to start in this location here, which I've identified as room G on my little reference. So what we do is we take all 3 cards. Now, the way that we dealt them out, the top card is going to be black, and the other 2 cards are going to be red. And the order is that the bottom card represents the room, the second card is going to represent the curiosity, and the third card is going to be the threat or the horror. So what we do is we flip them over without revealing the others, flip them over, and we start off with 3 of hearts. Can you see these cards okay? I think maybe I should have used cards which are a little bit clearer. But these are pretty, and they kind of have the feel, the paranormal feel. Right, so our first card is the 3 of hearts, and that's going to be our starting room. So we come over to our rooms table in the tables book, or you've also got all these tables inside the rule book, but they're easier to reference in the table book. So rooms, regular rooms, level 1, we have the 3 of hearts. So this is the dining room, lingering traces of nostalgia and overindulgence. And I've just written that here in my book. You didn't see that. Right, so we're starting actually in the dining room, lingering traces of nostalgia and overindulgence. So you're looking at maybe a room that has memories, but also maybe expensive dinnerware, maybe expensive furniture in terms of the table, in terms of serving trays, in terms of the chairs themselves. Right, so that's going to be our room. We then reveal the next card, which is the 2 of hearts, and this is going to represent the curiosity. So we go back to the tables book, level 2, level 3 rooms, and we come to the secret rooms, and then we come to curiosities. So curiosities, we get the 2 of hearts. A sudden chill grips the room. From where does it come? All right, so it doesn't say whether it's as I enter the room or as I'm in the room. I'm thinking it's as I'm in the room. As I walk into the dining room, I look around, I see all this maybe items of inheritance, maybe sort of family treasures. No, not necessarily treasures, but things that have been in the family for a long time. Tables, chairs, dinnerware kind of thing. And I'm noticing, there's a lot of nostalgia and overindulgence here because it's very expensive stuff. And as I'm looking around, suddenly there's like a gust of cold wind blasts through me as if a ghost has walked through me. Where does it come from? I'm not sure. Maybe, let me think. How many exits? How many exits does this room have? 5. Okay, so this room has 5 exits, but let me think. Maybe behind the head chair, for the head of the family, maybe there's like a large exit and entrance, like a double door behind it. Does the chill maybe come from there, or maybe does it come from behind me? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the oracle. Now, as I mentioned a little earlier, there are actually 2 types of oracle in this game. You have the closed question and you have the open question. So the closed question is essentially where you have 2 results to the die, and you basically whichever one rolls highest is the one that happens. So you can very easily say, for example, okay, so in my case, I could say, right, where does this gust of wind come from? Does it come from behind me, sort of the way I came in, or does it come from sort of the major exit and entrance to the room, which is behind the sort of head of a household's chair, this big double door behind them, which is going to be the black dice. So the black dice is higher, so it actually comes from in front of me. The gust of cold wind actually comes from the other end of the room, and it comes over the table from that place where maybe the head of the household sat. It has the most ornate chair, and it comes over the table and sweeps through me like a blast of cold wind. Gold wind would be nice, but cold wind I think is more more correct. So that's how you use the basic oracle, the yes/no kind of oracle. Right, so that's setting the scene. We now have a little bit of information about where we are. Now what we have to do is actually to find out what is the threat or the horror. What is the occurrence in this room? Oh, and one thing I did actually forget to mention at the start is this location has what we call a haunting. This is another part of the information that you generate when you start the game. Something about the house has basically got us involved, has got the locals worried, has got the residents scared, and has also, like I say, got the order to send somebody to investigate. And in this case, the house's oldest tree bleeds red sap. So their sort of biggest tree, maybe in the front of the house, is a large oak or an elm, and it's bleeding red sap, and cries can be heard near it at night. So potentially there may be something buried underneath it, or maybe somebody was hung there as a witch, maybe. We'll find out later. But we are now at the 3rd part of the room generation. So going back to the grid, we're now going to reveal the 3rd card for this location or this room, and that's going to be a black card, which is going to tell me whether we have a threat or a horror. So we reveal the last card, and it is the 2 of clubs. Now, if it's a club card, it represents a threat. Something about the room itself, something about the environment is going to be the challenge that you have to overcome. If it's a spade card, then it represents an actual horror, a ghost, a creature, a demon, some kind of adversary that you have to overcome. So we get the 2 of clubs. So we come back to our books. Again, I'm having to flip between the grid layout, the card layout, and the books because it takes up a lot of space otherwise. Right, let's just move this book over here for the moment. So curiosities, and it is the 2 of clubs, so it is a threat. If it was a spade, we'd have to come here to find out what is the horror. And again, once again, these are separated by level. Level 1 are going to have the sort of weakest threats and adversaries. Level 3 is going to be the toughest, obviously. So level 1, our threat is the 2 of clubs, the shattering. Portraits, mirrors, vases, chandeliers crash to the ground, blocking passages with shattered glass, fires, or other hazards. Okay, so the room's going to explode. Nothing major. It's just going to explode. There's going to be glass and pieces of crockery and ceramic flying everywhere. So that's going to be a little bit of a problem. And it's the challenge that we have to overcome. Normally, these threats and horrors, you have to overcome them by making action rolls. Again, when you roll the dice, you essentially assign an outcome to each die. Doesn't have to be pass, fail, succeed, failure. It doesn't have to necessarily be that distinct. It could also be, for example, if you think that this is something very minor, very easy to overcome, maybe you could give yourself a success with some kind of bonus and maybe just a basic success. On the other hand, if it really feels like something that you just cannot succeed with perfectly, maybe you could say, well, you succeed, but major complication, and then here, fail with major complication kind of thing, you know? So for level 1, you kind of have to get one success to overcome it. You can do more if you want to, if you feel it suits the story. Level 2, as a general guide, you should try to get 2 successes to kind of overcome. And level 3, again, it's recommended that you try to get at least 3 successes to overcome that challenge, to kind of represent the increase in danger. Because like I say, this game doesn't have stats, abilities or skills or combat rolls or anything like that. So it's really down to the narrative. Okay, so let me just quickly write this inside my book. Right, so I've written that down inside my little notebook, my little journal. I've also just put here the cards that I've drawn in case I mess up or one of the cats walks across the thing. Okay, so this is the threat that we're going to be facing, the shattering. We've got all this glass flying around. So I'm actually thinking that this could be a 2 success requirement. 1, to sort of avoid the flying glass and pieces of sharp objects as it explodes. And then second, the ability to kind of escape the room without sort of cutting myself. So I'm thinking that I'm going to be needing 2 successes for this, to sort of overcome this challenge and to escape the room. But I'm kind of thinking that maybe this is in response to me initially entering the house, maybe some reaction of whatever creatures are here and whoever's kind of dominating the haunting in response to my first sort of steps in the house, letting me know that I'm not kind of wanted here. Right, so we need to do an action roll. I tend to normally have white as the positive and black as the negative. So I'm thinking in this case, trying to avoid the sort of glass and the sharp objects flying around as we get that sudden explosion. I'm thinking that it's going to be difficult for me to not get hurt with all this glass and stuff flying around. I mean, I don't have any ability, project myself into the spiritual realm. Maybe I could actually, as a defense mechanism, suddenly kind of shift myself into the spiritual realm to avoid actually being hit. Yes. So I think I'm going to try to utilize my talent as like a defensive sort of reaction. So maybe the white die is going to be my ability to switch from the physical world to the spiritual world quick enough so I don't take any damage. The black is where I'm not quick enough, and maybe I do get some cuts as I do translate into the spiritual world. But because I'm translating into the spiritual world, it's a lot less severe than it could have been if I actually stayed in that room at that time. I'm thinking that maybe if I stayed in the room as a sort of, is the word corporeal? As a sort of physical being, it could be life-threatening. But I'm thinking because I have this talent to project into the spiritual realm, I'm going to be able to avoid that. So succeed with no damage, and maybe succeed, but we get cuts, which may hinder me later on. So I'm going to have to do this first with the explosion. So let's see if we can succeed. And we do. We get a 5-3. So we do actually manage to succeed in translating into the spiritual realm before the glass and everything else manages to hit me. And I see all these pieces of glass and pottery and everything else just passing through where I am, but it's actually passing through my spiritual body. I've managed to avoid damage from the explosion, but now I want to try to get out of the room. Now, would that entail switching back to physical? Okay, maybe, because I'm kind of thinking that sort of walking out as a spirit in the spiritual realm is going to be very easy to do. But maybe I noticed something in this room. Traces of nostalgia, overindulgence, shattering. Maybe I notice as the sort of the remnants of the explosion, the remnants of the sharp items are kind of falling to the floor and it's all dying down. Maybe I see on one of the side cabinets a glass container, maybe like a glass box with a lid that hasn't exploded, that hasn't actually been affected. And it's the only thing in the room that wasn't affected by this explosion. Everything else which was brittle or breakable actually did break, except for this one small sort of container, this one small box with a lid. And maybe it's glass, and that sort of piqued my interest. It's like, how come this didn't break as well? So what I want to do is I want to try to get out from the room before anything else happens, before these sort of sharp objects start spinning around again. So I translate back to the physical realm, and I notice that the shards of glass and the pieces, the sharp items around the floor are starting to vibrate and slowly start to move again. And I run for the back door where I saw the cold chill come from, behind the sort of most important person's chair. And I'm running for that back exit. But as I'm going, I want to try and pick up that glass box that didn't shatter and exit. So the white die, I managed to grab that glass container. Who knows? Maybe I might be able to use it to trap a ghost somewhere later. So a white die is I managed to escape the room and I managed to grab the container and get out before all the glass smashes against the closed door. The black means I get out in time, but I don't manage to grab the box. And then as I close the door, all the sort of glass and everything smashes against the door. So again, I want the white dice to be higher. Oh, no, it's not. Now, I did say that I wanted to get 2 successes for this room, but I'm thinking that the way that I've explained the story and the way that I've developed the narrative, I'm thinking that just 2 action tests was enough, not necessarily 2 successes. I mean, technically, even here in this action roll, the black one was a success. I managed to escape the room, but I didn't get the box. Now, I'm thinking, and again, I'm trying to develop a story here, but maybe if I had more time, if I had a different threat or horror that gave me a little bit more time, maybe I could have rolled a prophecy about that box, about that glass box that didn't shatter. Maybe there was something special about it, in which case I could have rolled up an open question oracle, which would have given me maybe some kind of prophecy to give me some kind of information about that box. But I'm thinking that because of the sense of urgency getting out of the room, maybe I didn't think too hard about it. I was just trying to escape as quickly as I could. So I'm thinking that for this room, I'm not going to roll the oracle, the open oracle, to generate some kind of prophecy. Maybe we'll do that in the next room. So I put here, as I enter this first room, the spirits within show their displeasure and smash everything in the dining room. Powerful forces at work. So I know that there's something at work here. I know that something caused all this to shatter, but I don't know what it is. I'm also putting notes here. The only item that didn't smash was a glass box with a lid. Why didn't this break? I couldn't grab it as I left. So this could possibly be something I could come back for, maybe. But again, then I'd still have to overcome the threat, the flying shards. And maybe I don't think it's such a good idea. But we'll see what happens. Maybe I do need to go back. Maybe the story's going to lead me so that I do need to come back and grab that. Now, going back to the grid, we now have to decide whether this was a successful or a sort of unsuccessful experience. Did we have a positive result? Did we have a negative result? Did we overcome what we had to well? Or did we sort of escape by the skin of our teeth? I think This was a pretty positive result. I managed to avoid getting hurt by transferring into the spiritual realm, and I did manage to escape, even though I didn't manage to grab that kind of special box. It must have something special about it. The fact it was the only thing in the room that didn't smash. So I'm thinking that this was a positive result. So what we do with your evaluation, and this is what it is, it's an evaluation of how well you did in that room. You take the black card and you either put it in your power or peril pile. And these are going to be used for the boss fight to represent the battle. So I'm thinking that we had a kind of positive evaluation. So I'm going to put this, and you put these face down. And since I think it was positive, I did pretty good. I think I'm going to put it in my power stack. If things had gone badly, if I had been hurt getting out, then I may have put it into the peril stack instead. If the encounter went really, really badly, you may also want to take extra cards from the black cards and put into the peril instead. Again, it's totally up to you. This is not a game which has limits, restrictions, and rules that tell you what you can and can't do. This game is all about telling the story, whether it's successful or a failure, whether you live or die. It's all about the story, and sometimes the best stories are when you fail. Right, so we have succeeded here. Now, let me just quickly double check. Got a 2. Oh, so we actually have 2 2s. Now, if you do get 2 cards that have the same number or value in a room, like we have here, the 2 2s, there is a chance that we find a secret passage to the next level. We basically have to roll the closed question oracle, the yes, no, to see if there is a secret room. So, yes, no. So, do we find a secret room in here? Has the exit that we've actually come through... Actually, no, maybe I should say... Let's see if we find one first, because if we don't find one, we can just continue as normal. Oh, it's a tie. Okay, now, if you roll a tie, there are special results for ties, whether you're doing an action roll or a yes-no oracle. For the yes-no oracle, the options are the most logical answer, a third unexpected answer, or an ambiguous result between both options. Let me think. The most logical answer, there isn't one. There either is or isn't a secret passage, okay? The thing is, though, that the exit that I went out from was like the main exit, so that's not literally a secret exit there. A third unexpected answer. Maybe we end up outside and we have to come back in? That could work, because that could actually lead me maybe to maybe this secret room represents the tree. And maybe if I climb the tree, I can then access the second floor by going, like, crawling out from one of the branches and going through. Oh, yes, that could work. So I'm going to take a third unexpected answer. In that, we do find a secret room, but technically it's not a secret room. What it is, the doors that I went out of is another exit from the building. And it leads me back sort of out to the front porch or the front area of the manor where the tree is. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to manipulate the result. As I'm drawing the card for the secret room, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and manipulate it so that it represents the tree with the red sap and the ghostly voices. And that maybe by climbing the tree, I can actually climb along the branch to get to the second level like a secret room normally does. Normally, a secret room allows you a shortcut to the next level. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that we do find a secret room. That was in the power deck, wasn't it? Okay, we do find a secret room, but I'm going to try and link it somehow to the tree. Don't know whether I'm going to be able to do that, but we'll see. So I'm thinking, should I take... Okay, so the secret rooms are from level 1 to level 2, and you can take a red card from either level 1 or level 2 unused. There's also another possible secret room from level 2 to level 3, in which case you'll take a room card from either level 2 or level 3 unused red cards. So I'm thinking for this, just give me 1 second. Now, I've just had a quick look through these secret rooms, what possible options there are. And there's a few that, oops, sorry, move the table, sorry about that. There are a few options that could easily be linked with the tree. But I think I'm going to take a level 1 room because they've got things like the hidden grotto, the conservatory. So if I manage to get one of those, actually 3 of hearts I can't. I've already taken the 3 of hearts. So I can't get the grotto, the conservatory. Level 2, we've got things like the solar. Okay, let's see how it goes. I'm going to take from level 1. So we're taking an unused card from level 1, and that's going to be this secret room. But I'm thinking it could represent the tree. Let's have a look. We get the 3 of diamonds, the servant's corridor, a complex maze etched with servitude and betrayal. You see, the thing is, now that I've started thinking and talking about using that tree as a shortcut up to level 2, I kind of still want to use it. So maybe servant's corridor. Okay, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to manipulate the result because I really like the element of using that tree because it's like let me get my notebook. Because it's like a central part of the haunting as to why we've been called out here. That tree is an important element. I kind of want to include it in the story. So what I think I'm going to do is the servant's corridor. What I'm going to say is this is actually those double doors that I exited the dining room from. It actually leads outside, but it leads to a pathway outside the building that sort of leads to the servants' quarters. And it's like a well-trodden path where all the servants go to sort of get to the kitchen, to get to the sort of rubbish, sort of trash disposal area, but also to get to the servants' quarters. And it actually goes past that tree, that large oak or elm tree, which bleeds the red sap. And maybe I can see it as I'm walking that path. I can actually see elements of that red shining in the moonlight on the tree's surface. And as I look closer at the tree and I see all this red sap, I also notice that one of the larger branches from maybe halfway up the tree actually goes across very close to a window on the 2nd floor of the building of this manor. So if I can climb the tree, I can then go across the branch and into the 2nd level. Now, normally for secret rooms, you don't have to do challenges. They're normally a place of respite, of rest, of recuperation, as well as a shortcut. So I'm thinking that climbing the tree is fairly easy, but maybe I try to avoid touching this red sap because maybe I'm not sure what it could do to me. Let me think, should I collect some? It could be useful later, maybe. Let's ask. I'm going to ask the oracle, the closed oracle, do I have a container on me where I can collect some of this red sap? White is the highest, so yes. Okay, so as I approach the tree and think about how I'm going to climb it, which handholds or branches I'm going to climb up with, I'm thinking, oh, hang on, I do have a little container, maybe a bottle, a glass bottle, that I can actually put some of this sap in. So maybe I collect carefully some of this sort of red sap from the tree. I don't know whether it's just normal sap or whether it's going to be something mystical in nature, but I'll collect some of the sap, put it into the container, and then I will climb the tree. All right, I've just made a note in my journal, in my book here. I did a diagram of the glass box. I've had to rub that out because we found a secret room. I put here servants' corridor, a pathway outside the manor used by servants to go to the kitchen and servants' quarters. It passes the old tree. I notice an upper branch nearby a level 2 window. And I've also put down here on my character area in my notes that I have now a glass bottle of red tree sap. I don't know if that's going to come in useful, but essentially it becomes another trinket that we can use. So the secret room is going to help me to take a shortcut. Let's go back to the grid. It's going to allow me to either take a shortcut up to level 2, or if I want to, I can just continue on the ground floor. So what I'm thinking is, I think I'm going to move straight to the level 2. Okay? So I'm not going to do these other 2 rooms on level 1. I could. I mean, it's an opportunity for me to maybe get more power cards, or if I do badly, more peril cards. These are opportunities to generate more information, more clues, and like I say, to build up your power deck. But I'm kind of thinking that I want to pursue the story a little bit faster for this playthrough. So we are going to use the shortcut. We're going to go outside the manor. We're going to climb the tree, and we're going to carefully go along the branch and enter the window on level 2. And that, my friends, will be in the next video. I don't want to make these gameplay videos too long. So I'm thinking what we're going to do is a video for level 1, this one, the next video, level 2, and then the third video will be for level 3, where we will encounter the boss. That level will probably be a bit longer because we have to do all 3 areas and the boss fight. Level 2, we could also possibly find a secret room to give us a shortcut. But that's how the game basically plays. Join me in the next video as we explore level 2. Still don't have much information in terms of what is causing this, but we know that they're angry. We definitely know that they're angry, but let's see what we find on level 2. So, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. Please take a moment to like the video, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Click the bell if you want to be notified when videos get uploaded. I don't have a regular upload schedule because of real life. How do you think this story is going to evolve? What do you think I'm going to find on floor 2? We shall see. So guys, thanks once again, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Stay safe. Cheers.